Today's episode of Titus and Tate, we will be talking to our good friend, Big Cat from Barstool Sports, from Pardon My Take, from all sorts of other things, from the internet.
We don't know who owns Big Cat right now or what he owns, but we know that he is got a podcast called Pardon My Take.
We don't know what he sold to get what he owns. He sold something, got something in return.
We know he's going to be at casinos for the next foreseeable future. We do know that.
We had a fun interview with him. We talked to him about mascots that look like coaches. I'm not even kidding.
Literally.
This was something that the other night I saw him tweet about it, and then I was like, we need to have him on the show, first of all, because Brad Davison is punching guys in the balls. And then I saw his tweet, and I was like, we should flesh that out on the show. So we talked a lot of Wisconsin, a lot of Big Ten talk. He's a Wisconsin guy. I'm an Ohio State guy. Tate is a guy with a brain, so he knows that the Big Ten's the best league in college basketball.
This year, yes. For the first time in 20 years.
So we're going to talk to him in a little bit. We're also going to talk about the roof is leaking in Hinkle Fieldhouse State. It might be snowing outside, but inside it's raining.
It's raining. Yeah, what is this precipitation?
It's cold outside, but inside, I guess it's raining. I guess the punchline is always
ponchos.
It's raining.
Yeah. It's not gonna be good.
Yeah, it was raining, and then it was raining. Oh, here's a good one. It was raining in Hinkle Fieldhouse earlier, and then it was raining at the end when Kamar Baldwin hit the three. We'll talk about that game a little bit. Also, speaking of raining in Indiana, my God, Purdue Boilermakers, hilarious. How this happens, like once every so often, they just are the best offense in the country.
As I said to you earlier, I think we just talked off air. I was like, I think Purdue is the scariest team in the tournament, but they won't make the tournament.
They won't make it. Yeah, right.
so it's luckily for you, don't even have to play.
If you could bottle up Purdue those 3 times this year. So we're gonna talk about those games. Some shout outs we gotta give, but and one big story that
a huge story.
Wait.
I mean,
also Tate's Pac-12 updates coming this week. Is it done?
It is coming, but again, like we said, this is supposed to be a chore, and this week it was absolutely a chore. So it will not be as good as before. It will not be as great as it was, but it will be.
Well, we'll see what that means in a second. We're gonna get to all of what we just talked about, but first,
Woody Durham.
He takes the timeout. Technical foul. Technical foul. Technical foul.
All right, it is Thursday night here in Los Angeles. We are back for another show. Last show we did, if you missed it, we did a recap for everyone who was busy watching football. We got them up to speed on what they've missed in the world of college basketball.
Not a lot.
And I felt like I wanted to start this just real quickly, just mention off the top that we do love college basketball, Tate.
More than most.
Because I think that was just like a therapy session for us. But we got called out on this too. Somebody on Twitter pointed out that you and I have a history of around this time saying college basketball is sucking right now. And I started theorizing. The reason I wanted to bring it all up is because I wonder it has something to do with the schedule, because I looked on Saturday, this coming Saturday, and we're gonna talk about that at the end of the show, what we have planned for the Saturday, but the slate of games this Saturday is unbelievable. It's incredible. It's the best day of college basketball we've had all year. And I don't think it's a coincidence that it's coming the week after the Super Bowl. So then it got me thinking. I was like, wow, if we do talk every year, like towards the end of January, start of February, we're in the dog days of the season, and we're kind of bored with whatever. Is it because they're purposely scheduling it this way?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's called being a sandbagger.
Yeah.
And the two of us, for people that don't know about our program, we believe in the must bus. And that, of course, is Eric Musselman. And Eric Musselman became famous at Nevada for sandbagging. Which is basically like, let's get down in the first half.
And taking his shirt off.
Yeah, and taking his shirt off and yelling things. And
his daughter.
Yeah, his daughter being Sister Jean
and his sons.
Light.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. Yeah. But sandbagging is the main thing. And Musselman taught us that you basically have to be as downtrodden as possible, get people not to believe in you, and then come back and shark them in the second half. And that is what we try to do. We try to get people down to the bottom of the barrel and say, look at this. Look how terrible this is. Look at all these crabs all around us. Who will climb out and get on top?
Yeah.
Will it be Baylor? Will it be Duke? Will it be Kentucky? Who knows? But we're still here talking about college basketball.
I want to make it clear. We do not have to talk about college basketball.
We don't.
I know people think this is our job. It's not. We're allowed to. It's in our contract. We're allowed to talk about whatever we want. We choose to talk about college basketball. We do love it. It was just.
XFL reached out to us.
They did.
They're
They're
like, "Do you guys want to do an XFL show?"
We see an opportunity. You could have the XFL podcast, and we're like,
maybe.
But I just wanted to mention that because it was more of just like therapy for us because we just wanted to get it out. And now it's out of our system. Now we're looking ahead to Saturday. We're looking ahead to the rest of the season. I am very excited about it. I just like felt this just kind of underwhelming feeling. And someone pointed out, they're like, dude, you feel this way every year. And maybe I do. I don't know. Maybe there's seasonal depression going on. I can't answer that.
It felt like one of those things where we're in a tunnel, we're holding our breaths, and we just don't see the light. You know what I mean? And we just keep trying to find the light. We finally saw the end of the light at the end of the day.
A lot of Marquette fans were coming at my neck for some reason.
Yes.
I don't know why. This was a point that you made.
Of course.
That you said that
these are my favorite points. My favorite thing is that people, especially in the new iteration, they'll just be like, it's just TNT, so they don't really know who's saying what.
They don't know.
So
they don't know.
We can always deflect, which is like we play this like college coaches. It's plausible deniability. It's like I don't even remember saying what I said or what you said, but Carson Edwards is still better than Marcus Howard.
Titus, what you're saying makes a lot of sense. And
Great point.
I got caught up arguing with people. I don't want to belabor the whole like I was arguing with people on Twitter thing, but it was just hilarious to me because you say that Carson Edwards would be the biggest star in college basketball.
Yes.
And then someone
not the best player, the biggest star.
And then
but now I'm doubling down and saying he's a better player than
you're
Marcus
not doing
Howard.
anything because I'm doing it for you because all the Marquette fans were like, we're like, well, wait a second, isn't Marcus Howard? Isn't Marcus Howard better than Carson Edwards? And then I find myself arguing, and then I realize this wasn't even my point in the first place. This was yours, and it was just the whole thing. The whole scene was hilarious.
You know where I find myself reading all of this,
I know,
and then just liking the
laughing.
tweets, and it's usually the other people arguing about how I am wrong. I'm like, good point. That is a good point. I didn't know his PR was that. That's a good point. Well,
anyway,
we're here.
Let's put that in our rear view. It's like I said, we just kind of wanted to flush it out of our system. And
can I do one more note on the new iteration of the show? A lot of people, and this is always very nice. I've seen people out, in the business, in the industry, people that are podcasters or digital media people, whatever they may be. Kyle, and they're like, congratulations. And there's this sort of feeling of you made it, and you don't need anything else from us. Like you've already made it to the big time. We have not. You know what I mean? And we like to be the underdog. We are not a blue blood. We are Gonzaga. You know what I mean?
Those of you
keep looking at us as the little guy.
Those of you who are watching on Fox platforms, on YouTube and what have you, you can see the broom closet that we're in. This is not the big time.
Yes.
I mean, this is the second best. They told me this was the second best broom closet they had on the lot. I felt pretty good about that. Not the best, but second best. There's a lot worse.
On camera. That's a step up.
We have not made it.
About.
We are still. You know what we are? We're like the team. I'll concede that we won. We had a big win, but we won. We're a team that won our conference tournament, but we're not cutting down the nets. You know what I mean? We're like, this isn't the ultimate prize. We won the conference tournament. Cool. We'll take the trophy you gave us, whatever. But we're not going to cut down the nets because.
Are we going to regret not cutting down the
nets?
I think so. I feel like most of those teams that do that always are like, I really wish I
had some of that net. I wish that memory would have been nice.
I want to climb that ladder.
We lost in the
that
second round, and man. Oof. That one sucks. All right, so let's talk real college basketball. Let's get to it. Do you want to do the Pac-12 update to start?
I think
you owe us a Pac-12 update.
I know the Pac-12 update is owed, and I know the people are waiting on pins and needles for this, but I do think that none of it matters. And again, I want to put that on the record.
That's the whole point. That's why I make you watch the Pac-12.
No, I like to reiterate that none of it matters. And for that point, let's talk about something that I think matters to both of us because we love mysteries, we love fodder, we love. Potentially a scandal. We just like when someone is suspended indefinitely for breaking team rules.
We love grabbing our popcorn and saying, we don't have opinions on this. We just acknowledge that this is cool, and we're going to watch what happens next.
It's just, we are those guys.
And then we just yell, release the tapes over and over as we're throwing popcorn in our mouth.
And they never do. And that's what we learned. They've never released the tape, so it's all fun. And speaking of that, we got Xavier Simpson, who we knew was suspended after the Illinois game at the end of January, and now we are finding out the details of why he was suspended. And it was
kind of,
yes,
the good, not all the details, but some of them.
Let's fill in the blanks.
Yeah, okay.
Let's do our best.
First of all, he was suspended, and it was not reported why.
Yes.
And immediately my mind goes to the reefer. It always does. I mean, this is the big ups. This is the story to me. The story itself is juicy, and we're going to get into that in a second. But to me,
excuse me, you said Reaper. He must have. The only way I'd miss a game is if the Grim Reaper got me.
No, the reefer.
Oh,
littering
okay.
and
all right, okay.
Smoking the reefer. So anytime a college basketball player is suspended for a violation of team rules, they always say a violation of team rules or if it's undisclosed, whatever. It's always, especially if it's one game, it's always weed. It always has been weed. It always will be weed. Except this time. That's what's so shocking about it. And the reason it's always weed is because think about the reasons you could be suspended if you're on a basketball team. Something criminal, in which case, like, everyone's going to find that out, which I guess this isn't technically criminal, but they kind of did find out because the police are involved. So everyone's going to find that out. So they kind of, when teams are going to suspend guys, they'll beat the reports to the punch. They'll say, we're suspending him because of this, and they'll report the criminal activity. If it's grades, they just say it's grades. They're just like straight up, the guy's not going to school because they like to shame. That's a big one from coaches and programs.
Because we're student athletes.
Yeah, they want to shame the players publicly. They're like, this kid won't go to class, and he's suspended.
The quad A green.
The quad A green, yes, that happens. If it's something like, I guess what else could it possibly be? If it's, I was going to say,
I entered my name in the transfer portal, so now I'm not going to be able to play anymore.
So anytime it's like he's out for one game, it's weed. It's always weed.
Yes.
So I mean, I was jumping to conclusions. I was like, all right, Xavier Simpson smoked a little weed. Okay, cool. And then they move on. And then this report comes out, Tate. And you want to do the honors?
Yes. So Xavier Simpson, around 3:03 a.m. Sunday, January 26th, which is basically the wee morning hours after a loss to Illinois, where he had 17 points. He was the leading scorer for Michigan, and he was apparently next to a vehicle that had run into the back of a pole, right? And he was standing there. And again, this was not Xavier Simpson. This was Jeff Jackson Simpson.
Did you say to the back of a pole?
Right? Didn't he run into a pole?
How do you run into a back of a pole?
I don't know.
Where is the front and where's the back of a pole?
I don't know. It's circular. It's a sphere of some sort. I don't know. But anyways, Jeff Jackson Simpson was just minding his own business, right? He's just walking down the street, and he sees a car that has obviously ran into some sort of object on the side of the street. And he's talking to the officers, and he's saying, I don't know what happened to this car right here, but my name is Jeff Jackson Simpson, and something's going on. What's going on here? Let's figure it out. And the officers, slowly start to piece together that maybe Jeff Jackson Simpson is the starting point guard, Xavier Simpson.
He looks a lot like Xavier Simpson, this guy.
Which, if you make up a name, and again, this is not like, Jeff D'Angelo was talking.
We have two Jeffs. That's what I was going to say. We have two Jeffs.
Why is Jeff the go-to? Why do we always think like, Jeff's the name?
We have to do, we're going to do an award show I don't know if we have the rights to the Duffys anymore, or if we lost that in the divorce. But we're going to do a reward show. I think one of the categories has to be Jeff of the Year. Yeah. Jeff Jackson Simpson versus Jeff D'Angelo. Who's going to win? Jeff of the Year versus Jeff Goodman.
Why are there so many Jeffs? And if there's anything we know about Xavier Simpson, a man that spells Xavier with a Z instead of an X, he would spell Jeff with a G. And anyways, in the report, they spelled it with a J. They spelled it regular. So, like, Xavier Simpson makes up his name. I've always wondered when people do this, what do you think the next step is? Like, you say your name is this, and then they say, can I see
some ID? And he's like, shit, didn't think that through. You got me.
So that obviously led to more questions.
I was hoping you wouldn't ask that.
There were some questions as to why there was no one around the car other than Jeff Jackson Simpson. Yeah. And now, as we put the pieces together, apparently the son of the athletic director for Michigan,
Ward Manuel,
who is
athletic director's name,
right? And then his son is a manager of the team, and he let, I guess, Xavier Simpson drive this car at around 3:00 in the morning. Xavier Simpson did not want to be a part of the police report, or should I say, Jeff Jackson did not want to be a part of the police report. And now it's all come out. The details has come out. Obviously, no one was hurt in this situation. There were no charges at this point, right? For anyone.
They said there was no suspicion of being drunk or anything.
There's nothing like that. So it is truly just a funny, ridiculous, like
it's just a mystery. Like, what happened? Like, what actually? He just slid off the road, and
as he said, it was icy conditions.
Did he fall asleep at the wheel? Did none of the above? And if he just slid off the road, why not just say, "Hey, I'm Xavier Simpson. I slid off the road." But he just probably panicked. I'm not accusing him of anything.
Yes,
I'm not saying this like an accusatory way. I'm just saying the story's hilarious because, like you said, there's like no victims. I don't think he necessarily committed, as far as we know, he didn't commit any crimes whatsoever. But then why was he suspended? That's the other.
Because he violated team
because
rules.
He was high.
Yeah.
It is weed.
Honestly, let me just say, if there was any time to point to maybe he was, and he's like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Ooh, Jeff Jackson."
Yeah. They're like, "What's your name?" He says, "Jeff Jackson," and they're like, "Why does your ID say Xavier? Why would you lie to us?" He's like, "Because I'm a little high."
He's like, "Sorry, sir. These snozberries taste like snozberries." that's where he was with this whole thing. And like you said, he still got suspended. Juwan Howard said he broke team rules, which means there was some sort of act.
There's a rule against running into the back of poles.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think every team, there should be a manual that comes out. Like, what are our team rules? Because we always hear that someone violated team rules. I would like to know, and I would like them to add that to the list, like an addendum.
As a journalist, I need something to reference. When you say team rules, I need to pull out the actual rule book and go through and
do not take the athletic director's son's car and drive past the hours of 2 a.m., back it into the side of a pole, and then claim that you weren't driving. Those are our team rules. Perfect.
I don't blame him, because I probably would panic too. It'd be just like a situation where you're like, it feels wrong. Like, especially like it's 3 a.m. I've been in these situations before where I'm driving and I know I'm not drunk, but I also know that like if something happened, I would have to do a lot of explaining that I'm not drunk right now, because the way I'm dressed, or it's like this. It's like 3 a.m. or something. I'm going to get like cereal at the grocery store because I can't go to sleep and I just want to have a box of cereal.
Both of us are insomniacs, so when you do things at weird hours, people think that you're crazy.
So I've been driving. I've had the thought before. I'm like, man, if something happened, like I would have to do a lot of explaining right now. To where if it then did happen, I would probably panic as well. But like you said, this is a great story. This is a perfect story. Hopefully like nothing else comes out and it's like worse than this, because this is my favorite story.
This right now
in
a vacuum is like the perfect story of a 1-game suspension. It's like no one got hurt, everything's okay. Xavier Simpson, I just want to say he's back playing.
Thank God, because I heard that he had bought some chairs. There were some chairs in his trunk. Thank God he didn't pick one of those up and put them above his head, because Mike, just think about how long he'd be suspended if that was the case. He'd be.
Those are the team rules you can't break. I would love if Bill Self put it out. He's like, you can't put a chair above your head. You're done. 12 games.
That's a Big 12 rule.
That's the Bill Self. Yeah. That's
what man. But no, Xavier Simpson. He's eligible now. He's going to be eligible the rest of the year, right? Correct? Because he came back. He played against Ohio State. And thank God he did, because his flagrant foul at the end of that game proved to be the difference. It cost Michigan the game. Sent Michigan into 12th place in the Big Ten. The Buckeyes are back, baby. I still have my hand on the panic button, but it's starting to come off. Like it's being depressed a little bit. As
long as you make the tournament, it's a successful year, right?
That's
all we're saying.
Are you crazy?
Right? For Ohio State,
that is the most backhanded.
It's a good year.
That's a Bill Titus comment. That's like what my dad says about Purdue, where he's like, it's admirable how
it's always a good year when they make the tournament.
For a program that's never been to a Final Four since 1980, it's crazy how much Purdue fans care. And like he says that like that's you.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, trying to compliment me, and you're just. Yeah, it's good for Ohio State, right?
In the words of Xavier Simpson, I accept full responsibility.
He did say this. Yes, he said this. This makes it great too. His quote was this: "This past weekend, I made some disappointing decisions which violated our team rules." Which he that Friday, like after the incident, he released that statement. No one really paid attention because they were just kind of confused as to what was going on. I accept full responsibility, and having to sit out the Nebraska game was part of that. I deserved it and fully supported Coach Howard's decision. So he takes full responsibility. That's a phrase that we love on this program.
Every coach that has ever gotten in trouble has taken full responsibility and then used their next sentence or phrase to then deflect all responsibility to someone else, which is plausible deniability.
He actually didn't do that here.
No, he did a good job. I mean, he just started with the company line.
It is funny that we now find out that, because like when this came out, again, I was working under the assumption that he had got caught with weed or something, and he's like, I take full responsibility, whatever. But now that we know the story, he's basically taking full responsibility for literally taking no responsibility. Like it's like that's what he's taking for.
Yes. Jeff Jackson apologizes
the whole point
for
of
what Jeff Jackson did that night, and Jeff Jackson will never do that again. Winks at Juwan Howard. He's like, good job. There you go. Also, Juwan Howard said they're going to keep this in-house, right? He's like, we're going to keep that inside the team if that's okay with you guys, he said to the media. And if the team rule is like curfew, is it just curfew? Is that all it was? Like,
I guess
that's
so,
the team rule?
yeah. How about the media? How about him saying, if that's okay with you guys in the media, just looking around? Yeah, that's okay, Juwan. Yeah.
Thanks, Juwan.
Sorry, Juwan.
Love you, Juwan. You're the best. You brought the Fab Five back. Where's Chris Webber?
Oh, my God. Oh. Oof.
It's a good day, though. This is what we needed.
This is exactly what we needed.
Yes.
This is the whole point of we willed this into existence. Without last show on Tuesday, without us complaining, this would not have happened. It happened. We have the Xavier Simpson mystery. Play the music, Kyle.
Yes.
Can't do it. That's okay. Kyle's not here.
Yes, no, he's swimming in money somewhere.
He's swimming in his money. Yeah. All right. Anything else on Xavier Simpson, or should we get to the Big Cat interview?
I just hope he learned something from this, which I don't know what he would learn. But I think he maybe learned something. But we should get to more Big Ten basketball talk because you're very excited about this. Get your hand off the panic button.
We are going to talk. This is our interview with Big Cat. We're going to do the Pac-12. We're going to come back after, do the Pac-12 update, wrap everything up. But here it is, our conversation with Big Cat. All right, joining us now via this little setup that we have on the
we're not staring at the people. We're staring at Big Cat.
We see him. It is Dan Big Cat Katz of Barstool Sports of Pardon My Take. Who are we getting tonight, by the way? Are we getting Big Cat or are we getting Dan Katz? And are there two different entities? Is this
No, there are not two different entities. Sometimes people will say that, it's great to talk to Dan Katz instead of Big Cat. I think it's one and the same. Obviously, you guys are getting me when I'm sitting on my couch at home, so maybe a little turned down, but we can turn it up. We can figure it out. I want to compliment you guys on your nice new studio.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very
much.
Your
first ever podcast since you left.
Yes. The first one we've done.
I noticed it sounds like you have like a full staff behind you.
We do, yeah. We have a full team here.
Yeah, it's for the first time. It used to be me editing us, so now this is official. We're finally official, Big Cat. We feel good. This is what big time podcasters feel like.
You guys seem like big time podcasters now. Are we allowed to say the K word and ask really quick what happened to the tattoo?
Oh yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah, Kyle.
Yes. Producer Kyle.
We can talk about Kyle.
Okay. All right.
He's still alive, we think. Yeah, last time we checked, he's alive.
His tattoo is very awkward.
He's Scrooge McDucking into his vault of money now that he works for Spotify, and he had a 35% share at the Ringer, and everything's going well for Kyle.
Yeah, he started that podcast.
He won't return our calls.
It was great. Good job by him.
Perfect. Perfect.
So beyond being a friend of ours and a fellow Big Ten alum, we wanted to have you on because you tweeted the other night that you were watching the Penn State-Michigan State game, as I was, and you tweeted that Pat Chambers is starting to look like his mascot. The wheels started turning in my brain, and I was like, we need to have you on and flesh this out because this is an idea that should not just exist with one tweet on Twitter. Explain that one, first of all. Like, what sparked that thought?
Well, so it was. I can't remember what game it was. I think it was
Michigan State. I thought.
I thought
it was like a couple nights ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2 nights ago, and he was all fired up, and he's got this, the white hair, and and he's kind of short, and it made me realize like this guy's starting to look like a Nittany Lion, and I think when you have a coach who stays at a school long enough, they do start to look like their mascot. It's like the 101 Dalmatians when everyone's walking around and the dog owners look exactly like their dogs. So I think he has finally gotten there, and you can see through like history, I was going through like who looks like their mascot. I have a few names that are current. I have some names that are in the past, and it actually is a phenomenon. I mean, I'll just throw it out there. Obviously, Coach K is the number one. This guy looks like his mascot. He is completely a Blue Devil. Yeah. Like he looks exactly like
his mascot is the devil, and he looks like the devil. Yeah, it's perfect.
Did they redo the logo to make it look like Coach K? I'm being serious. Like the D, and then it has the side profile, and that's the one that looks like K the most.
Yeah, Satan his nose. Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
same nose.
Yes. So this happens in college basketball, and Pat Chambers has reached that final destination. I think it's also like not a coincidence that Penn State is good this year. It's because he has finally realized that he is just a little Nittany Lion running around.
So how do we want to do this? How do we want to present our lists or our names? Or I don't want to. I don't really feel like we need to draft where it's like one guy only gets one. Like I don't think it needs to be that. But we could just go through the list that we have.
Yeah, I was going to say, could we just do proven winners?
Top 5?
Proven winners, top 5, and starting with a proven winner for my top 5 list. Do you want me to just start with
let's
one?
just do a top 5.
Okay.
Start with your number 5.
Okay, my number 5 is a proven winner, a guy that's been around the program for a long time, kind of, similar to the Nittany Lion, as we were just saying, and that's Mark Few. And that's Spike the Bulldog. Looks a lot like Spike.
Yep.
Okay.
Been around the program for a long time. And I think they may have done what you said about Coach K. Like, they were like, let's make Spike look like Mark Few.
Yeah.
Because he is the face of our program.
What if that's what is going on,
5.
actually? Like, the longer they stay, it's not that they look like the mascot. It's that the school builds the mascot around them. That's something to think about.
Yes.
Does Gonzaga's mascot have eyebrows? Because Mark Few does not have eyebrows.
I don't think so.
That is a fact.
Check on Spike, but I'm pretty sure there are no eyebrows.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys think this is the year that Gonzaga can finally go to a Final Four?
I hope so. I hope they cross that line.
I can't believe. Are you not on board with me that Gonzaga should have beat North Carolina if the refs didn't screw him. Gonzaga had some. How you feel about Wisconsin Duke game? Gonzaga fans feel that way about Carolina. I feel like anybody who loses.
Yeah, I was like,
in the
if you
title
lose,
game,
you
if
feel like
lose,
the refs screwed
yeah,
you. Yeah, I mean, the year before in 2016, I think the refs screwed him over.
Yeah, but it was bad
Well,
calls both
wait,
ways.
refresh my memory. Was Gonzaga like the lowest fouling team in the entire country? And then in the national championship game, they only had like 2 fouls in the first half, and then Coach K paid off the refs, and they had like 13 fouls in the second half. Did that happen in Gonzaga?
I think
something
so.
like that. That sounds about right.
All right, my first pick will be Coach K. So there you go. We already talked about him, but Coach K is clearly. I'll just throw my two. I have Coach K and Pat Chambers. I have 3 more, but I'll throw those two out there because we already discussed them.
I'm throwing my first one I want to mention is Fran Mccaffery, who the Hawkeye is got the angry face and he's got the teeth and that whole look. So Fran Mccaffery, when he gets the eyebrows pointing down and he gets his teeth gritting, I think he's overtaken Frank Martin now that South Carolina kind of sucks as the #1 angry guy in college basketball, especially this year with like Luka Garza being a Player of the Year candidate and all that. I think Fran McCaffrey's the #1 angry guy, is he not?
What game was it where he got out of the line? Out of the
that was
Illinois.
Recently. That was Illinois.
Illinois game.
Illinois.
Yeah. That was when we finally saw him really
Yeah.
snap, which was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that was his moment. We'll give him that. I like that.
Yeah,
Angry Hawkeye.
I got Fran McCaffrey, yeah.
That's a good call, Mark, that he is like the #1 angry guy because he just his face is just always a different shade of red where it looks like he's been holding his breath like a 5-year-old having a temper tantrum, and it's just like gets a little gloss to him. He's a perfect choice for that. Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tate.
My next one, it's not the mascot of his school, but I think it works out in the end if we're going to put it together. The answer is Mark Gottfried, and the mascot is Willie the Wave of Pepperdine.
Wait, what?
This is a cross promotional post.
So
here
you're just lumping all like smaller Southern California
I want
schools
Mark
together.
Godfrey to go to Pepperdine, and I think he looks enough like Willie the Wave to get him to Pepperdine.
Because his hair is just wet.
Yeah, and he's got the sunglasses on, and you're just like, this guy does not give a shit. You know what I mean? And like that's what I want for Mark Gottfried at Pepperdine. So for me, Mark Gottfried, Willie the Wave, those two guys.
All right,
let's put that together.
Okay.
If we're dipping into the hypothetical realm, why is like Mick Cronin at Notre Dame is the Jack?
Yes.
Not?
Yes.
Mick Cronin was at Notre Dame. But also speaking of North Carolina, Luke May and the Virginia Cavalier. I want to mention that before I forget as well.
Or the Mountaineer.
The Virginia mascot. That's kind of a deep cut. I don't know if people know what Virginia's mascot looks like, but Google that one if you're listening.
He's a Cavalier.
Yeah, it was on Mark Titus's sweater and hat for an entire year after he bashed that I rooted for LSU. Oh, that's weird.
I would never do that. I would never. How shameless! You just jump on the. I know. I was
Indiana comment. I totally forgot that you just faked that you were a Virginia fan for an entire year.
I put that on a tee for you. I was waiting for you to just dunk all over me. And you said the Indiana thing. Yeah. I don't even know where we're at.
You got one, Tate? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready. You brought up the Leprechaun before, and I got like a little spinoff series. So I got Mike Bray. And what we need is Mike Bray, not as like the actual leprechaun that dresses up, but like the actual logo leprechaun with the black hair.
With the
the punching leprechaun. And I want to do a spin-off series called Bad Leprechaun, and it's with Mike Bray, and it's basically like Bad Santa, but with Mike Bray being the bad leprechaun, and he's just doing whatever he wants to do, and he's basically guaranteeing bad luck to everyone around him.
You have a lot of Mike Bray thoughts.
Yeah, a lot of Mike Bray thoughts, but
you
Bad
do
Leprechaun being
Mike
a
Bray,
leprechaun, Mike Bray's a leprechaun. I'm gonna go with that.
Okay,
yeah, that works.
All right.
Yeah.
I hate Mike Bray, so whatever.
Very Chicago.
He cost
vibes.
me. Well, no, the basketball tournament, the first year that TBT, the first year in existence, we lost to Notre Dame.
Oh, that's right.
He showed up and was like, they were running legit sets, and I lost like $25,000. So that's. I've always had a hatred for Notre Dame basketball since then. All right, my next pick. This one, follow me along. I actually went and looked at the logo, and it's a little bit of a stretch, but I think Frank Martin is starting to look like a Gamecock. And I think it's because he has that when he wears the suit, and he's got such a wide chest and shoulders that his neck, when he sticks his neck out, he does kind of look like a bird because it's disproportionate in size. And I went and looked, and I think I'm kind of right. Not the Gamecock, like the mascot that runs around. I'm talking about the actual one that's in the logo.
Okay.
He looks like that Gamecock.
I do like all the technicalities that we have. We're like, it's not that logo, it's this logo.
If you look up the 1964 logo that they wore on
that's the one. That's
on the right hip of their football pants. It looks like
Yes.
exactly like that. Yeah. All right, my next pick, and I feel like this is cheating, but I don't know how we feel. Like we probably should have brought this up before. How do we feel about human mascots? Because my next pick is going to be Matt Painter, but the more I'm thinking about it, like it kind of goes against the spirit of the point of this, which is like, of course, you look like a human being. Like we want guys that look like animals, or right?
What's his name?
Right.
Pete, right? The Purdue mascot.
Pete, yeah.
Purdue Pete.
Matt
Purdue
Painter looks
Pete.
exactly like Purdue Pete. And by the way, Fred Hoiberg was number 1 on my list. He looks exactly like a clone of the Nebraska Herbie Husker. Yeah, he looks exactly.
Yeah.
Google what the mascot looks like. The Nebraska mascot. He looks exactly like him. So I'm gonna go with Bobby Hurley as my next pick.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he looks like he's got the devil looking thing too. He looks like a sun devil a little bit.
I like a pencil stash for
yeah,
Bobby Hurley
yeah,
too. That'd be really good.
If you drew on if you gave Bobby Hurley like a goatee, like the Sparky, I think is the mascot. Yeah. That's my pick.
I like
Sun
that.
Devil. Yeah.
Very persnickety.
I like
yeah.
that.
That's
Yeah.
good. I like that. How many do we have now? Where
I
are
don't
we
know.
at on
I
this
think
list?
we're close to done. Just rip through whatever else you have.
My next one that I have is Porter Moser, and he looks a lot like
Yes.
Lou Wolf.
He looks like Sister Jean.
Yes.
Yeah, he looks like
Yes.
yeah. Sister Jean looks like Lou Wolf in her
He
mind.
does.
Is Sister Jean not the mascot?
No, exactly. I feel like that's like a story of Little Red Riding Hood up there with all their different pieces and people. Yeah, but Lou Wolf looks a lot like Porter Moser. Porter Moser looks like a wolf, and he's very distinguished and distinct.
He's
and
got those
different.
bangs gelled up.
Yeah, he's all
that
about it.
look
So
from,
Porter
like,
Moser, Lou Wolf,
yeah.
those two guys, and they're both gray. It works. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
I like that pick. All right, so I have a couple that I'll just throw out there, rip through them. So cross sport, Jerry Kill definitely looked like
He's
the
number
Gopher
1.
football
Yeah,
coach
he's
for Minnesota.
yeah.
Yep.
That's like you think of it right away. Bo Ryan did start looking like a Badger when he had the white streaks in his hair.
Mhm.
He looked a lot like a
Mhm.
Badger at the end of his run. The other one that I have that's current is Bruce Weber. I think Bruce Weber, it's a lot of the white hair. Like he's
Mhm.
starting to look like the Wildcat in Manhattan, Kansas.
That's a great pick. The Big Ten is like sneaky great at having, like, I had Mark Turgeon on my list as well.
Yeah.
He's got the nose of like the turtle, the actual mascot.
Mhm.
The turtle has like a bent down nose, and Turgeon kind of has a similar looking nose. I think John Beeline looks like a Wolverine, and I don't even know what I mean by
Yep.
that. He's not even Michigan's coach anymore. Michigan doesn't even technically have a mascot, but I just like
Mhm.
whenever John Beeline was at Michigan, I was like, this guy just looks like a Wolverine to me. So, and then you brought up Bo Ryan. Thad Matta kind of
Bo
looked like
Ryan.
a Buckeye when
I
he
was gonna
there.
say Thad Matta is on my
did.
list. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Chris Holtman's
And,
on my list 'cause I think everyone looks like a Buckeye.
Yeah.
The Buckeye's too
Yep,
bland.
and Rick Pitino did look like a Cardinal when he wore the red suit and he
Yes.
slicked back the hair.
Are there any we missed? Is that it?
I had Ron DuBois, Sammy the Banana Slug. He looks like a banana slug, but I don't know if anyone knows who Ron DuBois is, or DuBois, or whoever he is. But he looks like the banana slug. That was the last one I had.
Nice. All right.
That was such a pick to have everyone be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Tate, you really do watch
Yeah,
college
yeah,
basketball."
it really was.
No, I
That
actually
was
looked
it.
up
Yeah.
who looks like a banana slug, and Ron DuBois came up. So it was
He
perfect.
texted Rothstein for help on this. He was like, Rothstein, I'm
Yes.
doing this segment. I need people. And
Rothstein was just eating
Dude.
food.
Rothstein sent him 84 names.
Can we just a little side tangent on Rothstein? And I love him, you guys love him, but how about him challenging me and PFT to a wing eating contest like Super Bowl week? When we're down in Miami, he's like, "Meet me in the Upper East Side. It's on." And we're like, "Rothstein, like, we actually have another job."
He's
that
not
isn't
aware.
just-
We cover other sports, John.
Yeah, he's not aware of anything else going on outside of college basketball. That's why.
So funny. It was like he couldn't understand. Like, these guys are gone Super Bowl week. What the hell?
Oh my god. Before we let you go, I wanted to ask. So you're a guy who you always have like a system down. Like I came on part of my take last time I was on, which was about a year ago now. So thank you for the invite between then and now. We did like the life episode.
I
We
thought
were
you
going-
honestly quit media. I didn't know.
Uh,
Are those jokes okay now? that you
yeah,
guys
of
actually
course
felt
they
like
are.
me?
They've always been okay.
all right.
We're not sensitive about it.
We
Yeah.
did. We quit.
Yeah, we quit. We quit. Yeah, we definitely.
This doesn't count. This is just for us.
I gave up all my Ringer equity, and I said, this is never going to be worth anything. And I said, take it.
Let's
I don't
get
want
outta
it.
here.
Let's get out of here.
Let's go count the big
perfect.
checks.
But no, when we were doing the life episode, you flexed your muscles about like a guy who always has like a system for everything, and you always know where the right place to be. You're saying you're the genius at noticing a bar or a table that's open at a bar and you can, or about to be open, and you can find the table and all that stuff. So I thought about fleshing this out with you because Tate and I are currently like working on our plan for March Madness. Like where are we going to travel to? What are we doing for round 1? Where are we going for the Final Four? When are we getting there? All that kind of stuff. So I wanted to flesh that out with you, Big Cat, where we start with round 1. Like, what is the perfect NCAA tournament experience? Are you watching round 1 on your couch at your house? Are we going to Vegas?
Are you eating wings with John Rothstein in the Upper East Side?
And then we just go on and we figure out, like, we decide what is the best thing ever, and then I don't know, maybe we'll do it someday.
Maybe we'll do it.
Yeah.
We just need your advice.
So what is the number 1?
Yeah.
Let's start with round 1.
I got you. So round 1, so it's very important. So Thursday, you need to go to a bar. You need to go to a bar with all the games, and you need to be at that bar the minute the first game tips off. And you have to stay at that bar until about the 9 o'clock game. Okay, so and then you can go home for the last like 4 games. But being at the bar for the first tip of the tournament is very, very important because you need to just soak it all in. And there's that moment where it's like you get a booth and you give the waitress or the waiter that look like, hey, we're gonna be here a while. Like if you're not doing March
we all know that
correctly,
look. Yeah, it's a distinct look.
If you don't have at least 2 or 3 times over the course of the weekend where the waiter or waitress is like, hey, my shift is ending. I'm gonna pack. Can you guys zero out and I'll pass you off to the next person.
What's your policy?
To outlast their shift. Yeah.
What's your policy on how many times you say, no, we're good, before you feel obligated to order something? When they come by and they go, are you guys still good? And you say, yeah, we're good. How many times? And then you're like, I think we have to order something now to keep this thing going.
It's
3. But I'll usually, like, for March Madness, it's just kind of a perpetual, like, just ordering food throughout. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Never really ordering a meal, but just always having food on the table. So you have to at least outlast a couple shifts. And then Friday comes, I go right back to it. I do the same exact thing Friday. So Friday I'll do the exact same thing. No days off. Be at the bar all day. And then Saturday is when you recoup at home.
Okay.
So Saturday is the recoup at home during the day. Maybe you can go out at night, to watch some games. But that always is touch and go because you might get in a situation where you don't have sound on the TVs. So Saturday is big time, like recoup, rest up, and then Sunday I like to do the like late brunch lunch for that first or second game. You know how they always play like, what is it, like 1 or 2 games play on their own on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Usually Kansas is playing at like noon on Sunday. So go watch that because it's only a solo game. Then go home and just die on your couch and watch all the games till midnight. Now, I've also done the casino. The casino's great. This year I'll be at a Penn National Gaming Casino. I'll be actually at 4 of them. We're going to do a road trip. We're doing a road trip. No joke. I'm not even kidding. We're doing a road trip. We're going to 4 different casinos in 4 different states. But I have done the casino. Casino's great. Casino is a different type of, like, it is a different type of toll on your body because you're also, like, dealing with the highs and lows that everyone else has around you. So it's very exhausting, but it's also great because it's exhilarating. So if you do a casino, my only tip would be try to at least match some of your bets with your friends so you don't want to kill each other by the end of the day. Because that would also happen where you're on the opposite side. And by, Thursday night, you just want to kill your best friend because they're winning and you're losing, or vice versa.
Okay.
These are all great points, Big Cat. This is
great.
very like wise veteran, stuff. We needed this.
I'm gonna just lay at home for as long as possible. Yeah. But that's just why I'm not the veteran. Like,
but
do you
have enough TVs to lay at home? Like, no offense. Do you?
Not yet.
Like, I have 3 TVs in my living room, so I'd lay at home. But I don't know. You can't miss action.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't miss that. Yeah, I set it all up and we watch all the games. At any point are you interested in going to the games? Like if there are games in New York this year, there actually is. There's a regional in New York.
Yeah. Yes.
Pretend you're not busy and you're working in finance and you live in New York City and Wisconsin's not playing. Wisconsin at this point has long been upset. They're well out of the tournament. Is
So we
this-
did it.
Yeah,
made the
you
tournament.
made it in.
Yes,
So
you guys are in.
Deal.
is neutral fan Big Cat like saying, oh wow, the NCAA, the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 is coming to Madison Square Garden, I need to be there? Or are you like, no, if I go there, then I'm missing these other games, so I'm just gonna stay home? Or what's the play there? What do you do there?
Sweet 16 and Elite 8, yes. The first 2 rounds, absolutely
No.
not.
Okay.
I would never go to a first 2 rounds game. I did go. Let me think. I did go to a round of 32 when Wisconsin. Remember that comeback we had against Oregon? That was in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
I went to that game, but I love going to the conference tournaments. So obviously, I loved going to the Big Ten tournament in Chicago. I love going to the Big East tournament in New York. So I like doing conference championship week, going to a tournament game then, and then saving the actual tournament for your couch or the bar.
I'm with you on that. Go to the conference tournament. Watch the first 2 rounds at home or at a bar, and then Sweet 16 Elite 8. That's what we're doing. There's one. There's one in LA. We're gonna
Sweet
go
16 is when it starts.
We're gonna go to that region. What about the Final Four? Do you go home if you go to the Final Four like you did last year? You guys went home though, right? Before the championship, or did you not?
What was the? Oh yes, I did.
Are you one of those
I went
guys?
home before.
You're the
Yeah.
stay for the party and then
Yeah.
leave.
Come in
before the
Saturday
titles?
night,
Yeah.
enjoy the first round of games in the Final Four, then leave on Sunday.
Yeah, is that the move?
Well, to be totally honest with you, I was there. I went to Saturday night. It was great. It was thrilling. I could not stomach being around Mark Titus in his Virginia sweatshirt, so I left. I literally left. Like everyone else I was with stayed, but I was like, I gotta go. I can't.
You went and
do
got
this.
wings with
So
Steve.
yeah, I left.
You went and got
Yeah,
wings with
Steve
Steve.
and I
is
got
what
wings,
happened.
which
That's
we will do. We have a place in Atlanta, a great bar, by the way, Northside Tavern. Shout out Northside Tavern, which I shouldn't say out loud because now people will probably meet us up there. But it is a great dive bar that we will hit up in Atlanta.
It's all right. Nobody listens to this show. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, no,
quit.
I agree.
We're good.
Well, unless I retweet it.
Yeah, there you go. There it is. All right, last thing, and then
I love
and then,
this. I love doing those, by the way, because there are people who don't realize we're friends, and they'll be
I
like,
know.
"That Big Cat guy's such a dick."
Yeah.
And then when you come on Pardon My Take, they'll be like, "Titus just doesn't get it."
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, right.
Okay,
How much do we care about the Big Ten title drought? Is this the year? What? Let's flesh this out as 2 Big Ten guys.
20 years.
Tate, you can sit this one out.
Yeah, 20
Just you and I. It's been 20 years. I thought
2
coming into the season, Michigan State's preseason -- 1. We were looking at it saying, this could be it. The poetry of 20 years after Michigan State last won, the 20 years of the last time Big Ten won. It just seemed right. And I don't think it's going to happen now. I was looking at Lenardi's bracketology. He's got Michigan State and Maryland are 3 seeds, and there are no other top 4 seeds. So it seems like Michigan State and Maryland are our best chance. And if you're putting your chips on Mark Turgeon,
Then
yikes.
get out.
Yeah.
Get rid of your chips.
Yeah.
Just throw your chips away.
Yeah. I think it's going to be tough. I actually think in a weird way. So Michigan State, I trust. Maryland, I've watched so much Maryland this year. They're the worst first half team in the country. And that might be anecdotal, but I feel like every single first half they suck. And then they come back and play well in the second half. That obviously will bite you in the ass as soon as you get to March. Weirdly enough, I don't want to toot your own horn there, Mark, but I feel like if Ohio State gets healthy, they would be the next team, right?
Yeah,
Illinois too.
no.
Illinois is legit. Illinois is legit.
Illinois is legit, but they also lost to Miami at home, and they lost to Missouri on a neutral court. But that was a long time ago. They've come around. Illinois is legit. Yeah, Ohio State actually could that's what's so frustrating is that I don't think what happened at the first half of the season was a fluke and then they got exposed. I think they just for some reason suck now and I can't make sense of it. So
something happened.
So you're
in
holding
Vegas.
out hope.
We don't know what happened in Vegas. They were
Yeah.
number 1 team in the country, best
then-
team in the country,
yeah.
beat Kentucky, and then everything went to shit.
But the problem is we're going to be like a 7 seed. So we're going to play Baylor, we're gonna be like an 8 seed and play Kansas in the second round, or we're gonna be a 7 seed and play Dayton in the second round and blow it. And
yeah. Purdue's the scariest team in the Big Ten. Purdue is terrifying, but they're not gonna make the tournament.
Well, I mean, yeah, if they could play all their tournament games in West Lafayette, they would probably win it all.
So the answer is no. We're not winning the title.
Yeah, I don't think
Michigan State. I looked this up. Michigan State, their best win right now. I looked up to see if they've beaten any tourney teams away from home. Minnesota is the closest they get, which Minnesota is probably on the wrong side of the bubble right now. Maybe they're in. Maybe they're one of the play-in teams. But Michigan State, all of any good win they have is at home. Otherwise, they've been pretty bad. So
yeah,
I
we
don't
saw
know.
them in Maui. They're not that good.
No, the Big Ten's
next
chaos
year.
this year. And
Next
I'll
year.
throw one last thing out at you guys. I said this to you last night on a text message, Mark, but blue bubbles, by the way. Shout out you for finally getting into 2020. The team I like the most right now, and they actually just lost a big game on Saturday, but I like Kentucky. And I know you guys make the joke about Cal's guys. I feel like Kentucky's one of those teams that if you look, they were bad. Like, they had those weird games to start. They lost that game in Utah, where I think they got blown out. And ever since, I feel like they've gotten better and better. And every time I watch them, I'm like, they're better than the last time I saw them. So I feel like they're going to be a team. Cal's guys are really going to peak at the right time.
I think you're right in the sense that Kentucky is certainly not done, and they're gonna have to be reckoned with come March. But like, I don't know if I believe in them to win the national
It depends
title.
when Coach
That's the
Cal
problem.
wants to go to the Knicks. Like, if Coach Cal wants to go to the Knicks right now, the season's over.
Yeah.
But if he wants to win the title and then go to the Knicks, then that's good.
You are right though. Is that they have gotten better. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird year. It's like it's
a terrible year of college
it's a terrible-
basketball. So we appreciate you watching and betting on a Big Cat
Yeah.
because
I mean, I love it. I love years like this, and I think we're also at the point where it's like, is Baylor just the team? Maybe. Like, they just,
what if Baylor just
like
destroys everybody? Yeah.
Right. Like, every time I'm like, oh nope, this is where you can catch Baylor at a down spot. It's like, nope. They're just
It is
gonna win.
funny. It is funny that you hear everyone talk about how there's no great teams, and you have San Diego State who hasn't lost. I'm not saying these are great teams. It's just like, what if San Diego State just wipes
the
the floor?
resumes say they're good teams.
What if they
They're
just
great
beat the
teams.
hell out of everyone and go undefeated? And are we still like, if San Diego State is undefeated in the title game, are we then going into that title game saying, there was no great teams in college basketball this year?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Gonzaga's lost
Definitely.
one game. Baylor's lost one game.
We're not changing our
Yeah.
stance. You know what I mean? Their best player is a transfer from Washington State at the end of the day.
Yeah, when we say there are no great teams, we really mean there are no great blue bloods, so we
Right,
don't feel
right.
good about it.
Yeah.
And then Duke, it might be Duke's year.
Yeah, there you go. It could be. All right.
It could always be Duke's year.
We'll let you get back to watching your 3 TVs and whatever the hell else you got going on. Appreciate it.
Good
Big
luck in
Cat.
that.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
that
Colorado
was an awkward
California
ending.
game. Yeah,
That was.
no.
What was that ending?
I don't know. Let me
Say
try it
something
again.
nice.
Go listen
keep
to
this in.
Go listen to Pardon My Take. I might make an appearance at some point. Maybe not. I don't know. I got bumped last year lead into March Madness. I do remember I got bumped for somebody. I think it was Rothstein.
Yeah,
I think you did a double bump.
No, you didn't.
You
No,
did.
you
Not
didn't.
only did you
No,
bump me,
you didn't.
you got Rothstein. I told you we were trying to get Rothstein on our show for years, and then you were like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bump Titus and get Rothstein.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
That's not even close to what happened, but that's fine. If you want to remember it that way, I remember saying, "Hey, Mark, you're a good friend. You want to come on for March Madness?" And you said, "Oh, sorry, I'm doing this video for the Ringer. I have to keep doing this video." And then it turned out it was that video that Russillo wrote. And that was
that's
why you
right.
couldn't
That's right.
come
That's
on.
what it was.
Oh yeah, when he
Yeah,
got
it
a
was right.
Boston accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yes,
hey, they're
now the
making me
truth
do
comes
this.
out.
Yeah,
this
that was your
stupid
nightmare.
video.
That
Yeah.
was actually a really
That
bad
was
day
true.
for Mark. We can't blame that. Yeah, that was tough.
That
It was a
showed
great
up.
video. Yes, it's a great
It
video.
was fantastic.
I need that
All right,
accent.
Big Cat, thank you. We'll be in touch.
See ya.
All right, thanks again to Dan, good friend of ours. Go check out his podcast. It's Pardon My Take, I believe.
Yeah, something like
The
that.
startup. Really rooting for those kids.
Yeah,
Hope
the
they can figure it
underdogs.
out. Yeah, the underdogs. They're the real underdogs.
Definitely the underdogs.
They're the underdogs over there. No, it's always fun when he comes on. We're gonna have him back on when Wisconsin and North Carolina play in the NIT. That'll be fun.
that'll be good. Or CBI or wherever they end up
CBI.
playing. Who knows? It's going to be a
I gotta
tough
calm
road.
down talking smack because I forgot to bring up that Ohio State is playing at Wisconsin on Sunday. I forgot to. We were supposed to preview that game, but there's nothing to really preview because Ohio State lost at home to Wisconsin, and yeah. What am I gonna say?
I will say that
we already lost at home.
The thing that really stuck with me is when he opened up and said that Wisconsin was better than Carolina and Ohio State. In my mind, that's so far from reality. Even if the record may say that, or whatever it may say in this year of college basketball, I still could never come to terms with that. Even Wisconsin in 2015, they beat North Carolina in the Sweet 16. I experienced that. I was there in Los Angeles. Still didn't care.
And then he proceeds to be like, I hate this team so much. I hate it. All right, let's get to it. Get to your Pac-12 update.
Yes.
We need to get this done.
All right, so the Pac-12 update. First off, West Coast basketball still continuing. Last Friday / last Thursday, we saw Arizona get their first road win, right? We were very excited about that at Washington.
First road win in the league or first road win period?
First, let's just say period, right? Probably in the league, but we'll say period.
Who cares?
They don't care.
The great thing about the Pac-12 update, if I can just cut in, is
don't fact check it.
No one fact checks it. No one bothers
No.
to. You can say literally anything.
Yes.
And this is the one time, like if we said Marcus Howard was shooting 42% from the three-point line right now, the Marquette fans would be just one after another saying like, it's 39.8, you idiot, whatever that actual number is. But Pac-12, you could be like, the Pac-12 is now the Pac-14. They added Gonzaga and San Diego State. And no one is going to tweet at us and be like, that's not right.
No, they'll be like, congratulations to the Pac-14.
Yeah, I didn't
love those guys.
Yeah.
That's
I'm a
good league.
diehard Arizona fan. I had no idea that happened.
Who's going to be the first league to change the name to actually include 14, or 15? That's what maybe that's the Pac-12 update when they go to Pac-15.
What about Pin 15 for the Pac-12?
That's something like that.
Pac-15 because the Pin 15.
Yeah, that'd be good. Speaking of Pin 15s, let's talk about Sean Miller in Arizona. So they win their first road game, and then they beat Washington State, Kyle Smith's great squad, a team that was rolling going into that game. So they sweep Washington, and then we just saw them wrap this game up, and then they beat USC, a team that's hot in the Pac-12. So the question now is, in the Pac-12 update, this is now becoming a question within a segment, is Sean Miller back? Because there was, a little period of time where we didn't know what was going to happen with Sean. Like, the future was murky, to say the least. But now he's fully entrenched. He's got a lot of good freshmen. Najee Davis is having a good year. Nico hit some big free throws we just saw. And they're the number 23 team in the country. And maybe, dare I say, the best team on the West Coast.
What?
Probably not.
Sorry, what?
That's where I'm at, though.
No, you did say dare I say.
Dare I say.
Yeah, you didn't actually say it. You said dare I say.
Dare I say.
And,
is he back? That's all I want to know.
Is he back?
Yes.
I think so, in the sense that no one cares about the FBI stuff anymore. Like, Avenatti, I saw, was talking about DeAndre Ayton getting paid in his trial. Like, it's alarming how little people care about this. I saw Dan Wetzel wrote a column today. Apparently, I was going to give a guy a shout out at the end of the show, but we can do it now. This dude named Marty Blazer, who I don't remember if we covered him or not. I don't know if he's
we did. Yeah,
he's an associate of Jeff D'Angelo, or if it's Jeff Jackson. I forget which Jeff he was tight with. But Wetzel wrote this article about the guy. He's the guy who started this whole thing. He conned people out of like $2 million. Gets arrested for that. Part of his like deal, he says, I can help you guys. Like, don't throw me in prison. I can help you get the bigger fish. We're gonna blow up college basketball. All the corruption going on. I know what's going on. I can give you all the names.
Let's definitely trust the guy who's already lied to a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah.
He's
That's
conned
always
a lot
good.
of people.
Yeah.
And apparently, he was the guy who started this all. All of it leads to nothing. He today gets to he got
Just saying the sentence. He's the guy that started it all in the world of college basketball. That has been paying players.
Yeah, well, he didn't start that, but he started
No,
he started the whole trial. Without
yes.
him, we don't get
the flow chart.
The flow chart.
Yes.
The press conference of we have your playbook. The playbook came from Marty Blazer. The guy that was up there saying we have your playbook was like, I talked to this guy at the
my
Clink.
trusted confidant, Marty Blazer. It's like Catch Me If You Can, you know what I mean? Now he's gonna go in and just like fix it all. It's not how it works. The college basketball system is not gonna get.
I love
fixed
that
like
we vet our sources more than the like FBI vets their sources. Like when someone tweets at us that they have a breaking like a scoop for us, we're like, I don't know if we can trust.
Yeah,
it.
we need three people to say
need
it.
like
Yeah.
the FBI's like this guy in the Clink said that all this is going on.
He's
So.
like giving thumbs up. He's like, lock him up.
Alert
up.
Or alert the media. Let's have a press conference. Oh my God. So anyway, today he got sentenced, or he got his judgment passed, or whatever. The resolution to all of this was he was put on probation and like has to pay restitution, and that's it. But he can walk free. So he conned the FBI. He conned some more. Wiped his hands. He's Kaiser Soze walking straight up now. He had the limp, and now he's walking, and he's laughing all the way to the bank, I guess, to get money to pay the victims.
Someone pointed this out, and they said that our show is built on this idea that there's so much money coming into these players, but maybe there's just not that much money, was what this person said to me. And this person was on a message board, and this was on Pack Pride. And this is like 3 or 4 years ago, or 2 years ago, something like that. Who knows the timelines? But some person said that to me, and I said to myself, maybe, let me just like take a step back. Maybe we're, basically saying this could be this big, underground, corrupt black market Or maybe it's just, like a few people, acting out of character.
Right.
Which is what they want you to think.
Right.
And as you hear someone like Marty Blazer and, hear someone like Jeff D'Angelo, it is exactly the black market that we have been talking about. So that's always a good thing to, sort of confirm at some level. Let's continue the Pac-12 update.
Okay, go ahead.
Shall we?
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to
it's
tangent.
okay.
But to answer your question, yes, I think Sean Miller's back because I don't think anybody cares. Like, that's what the point of bringing up the Wetzel article is. Wetzel's basically like, it's hilarious how nobody cares about this. And nothing came of this. And this guy promised to tear down college basketball. And not only did that not happen, but he's walking free. And Sean Miller, when's the last time anybody asked him? When's the last time anyone? Evan Addy's trial was going on, and he brought up DeAndre Ayton, and not a peep from, like, people. His feet are not being pressed to the fire. And for that reason, Sean Miller's back, yes.
I'm pretty sure Sean Miller said to them, we're going to keep that in-house. They were like,
Yeah,
Sean, did you guys pay DeAndre Ayton? We're going to keep that in-house.
I'm going to try that.
Guys, we're going to keep that in-house.
If I ever get arrested,
Yeah.
like, I'm going to go ahead and keep this
My
one
name
in-house.
is Jeff Jackson, and I'm going to keep this in-house. Thank you so much. Men's basketball, or the UCLA men's basketball program, got their first California recruit, four-star shooting guard Jaylen Clarke. And again, you're saying to yourself, who is the coach of UCLA? Why is this a big deal? The coach is Mick Cronin.
Yes.
Mick Cronin went to a program where, a lot of people were having questions. Can he keep the recruiting up? And the Compton Magic said, of course.
Yep.
And Jaylen Clarke plays for the Compton Magic, where Jalen Hands, also named Jalen, spelled the exact same way, played. And he went to, you guessed it, UCLA. Also, sophomore on the team, Jules Bernard, also went to UCLA from the Compton Magic. So
the Compton Magic pipeline is open.
The pipeline is open, and Mick Cronin had to prove that he could keep that pipeline going. He proves that. Pac-12 update, UCLA is back. UCLA is here.
Arizona's back.
They're
back. Playing on Saturday.
And folks, if you're saying this seems like a story I've seen before, it is, because every single year in the Pac-12, we try to find someone else, and at the end of the day, Arizona, UCLA, they lead the Conference of Champions, as Bill Walton would say, and they're continuing to do so. So congratulations to Jaylen Clarke and all the California kids that go to UCLA. It's all working out. Next up on the docket, Washington basketball. What? What is going on? Woof.
That's what I say.
You look at a guy, Matisse Thybulle, who's playing on the 76ers like a Rookie of the Year or Defensive Player of the Year, nominee, people were saying, because he's such a great defender. He won National Defensive Player of the Year for Washington last year, so maybe that's good news. Again, this is all the Pac-12 update. I'm doing my best to keep this together. Washington is not very good, Mark Titus. I'm not sure what's going on in Washington.
Quaddy Green's going on.
Yes, so maybe that's the update.
They're still waiting on his
Green has blown this team. Yes.
They're still waiting on his 30-point game. Yeah, did we even really cover that when it happened, that he's academically ineligible? Because
we didn't really
it's
talk
completely
about
ruined the team. I'm not like
they need a point guard.
You can point to that moment in time when everything just went downhill for Washington, and it's kind of staggering because to become academically ineligible at a Division I basketball program, especially a power conference, a place like Washington, you have to almost try. You have to almost be trying to be ineligible. So I don't know how it all happened, but woof.
And my final note for the Pac-12 update goes back from a guy that used to play at Duke, transferred to USC, then transferred from USC back to the East Coast to Boston College, back to the ACC. His name is Derrick Thornton.
He's still playing?
And Derrick
Thornton.
Yes. And Derrick Thornton, who played for Duke but didn't really play, who played for USC but didn't really play, is now playing for Boston College and was the man who led Boston College to a win in the Dean Dome against North Carolina on Saturday. And I had to watch this former Duke defector turn back into a Duke believer and beat North Carolina.
He's still playing college?
Yes, and he beat North Carolina in the Dean Dome on Saturday. So
How?
that is the final. Exactly, that is the Pac-12
Didn't he transfer from Duke when he was a junior or something?
No.
I
mean, maybe. Who knows?
It felt that way. You know why? Because Tyler Thornton's who I'm thinking of.
Yes.
They had Duke had
there
the
was
Thorntons.
Tyler Thornton before. Yes.
They had all the Thorntons. So
Yes.
Derrick Thornton. I'm conflating the two.
Yes,
but I know who Derrick Thornton is. But it's still, I thought when he transferred from Duke, he was going to go to USC for like a year or two.
He did.
And then he left. But
and then they were like, look, we can't play at USC. You got one more year eligibility. He went to Boston College. He's playing this year. He beat North Carolina. It was his big moment. He was cheering as if he was still playing for Duke. And all I could think about was Chase Jeter. And I'm like, when is Chase Jeter going to transfer back to the ACC and get a win against Carolina? So that's the Pac-12 update. All these Duke defectors.
It's not a bad update.
Yeah, they're going back to
That's
the East
pretty
Coast. Yeah, that's all we got.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you.
You want to talk about the Butler Villanova game? Did you see the buzzer beater?
I did.
We don't really need to talk about it. I didn't watch the game, to be honest with you. I was watching it, and then the roof started leaking. And then it took forever. They had a big delay, so I flipped it over to the Purdue game. And Purdue was amazing. What is this? What's going on?
Unfortunately, Eastern did not have a good game. And,
that's all you care about with Purdue. Explain to the
the
people that are new to the program why Nojal Eastern is your guy.
Yeah, so I watched Purdue. We watched Purdue a lot over the past few years, and whether it be Dakota Mathias or there was a bunch of guys that we liked.
You started with Dakota Mathias.
He was one of my favorite players on the team.
I love Dakota Mathias as well, but I don't know.
One of my favorite players.
Caleb
on the team.
Swanigan, maybe.
Again, you can see why I had an affinity
Carson
for Nojal
Edwards,
Eastern.
maybe.
Yeah. I always like to go for the fourth or fifth guy. So I see Eastern in one game. He has like 16 points. Don't fact check me on that, but he had a good game. And I point to you, and I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
He's going to be the next Carson Edwards, but maybe better in my mind after watching this performance. He's got all the tools. He's going to be great. He has not been anything close to that.
I think he was preseason Big Ten, first. I didn't know they do that, but I think he was named to some preseason first team Big Ten. He's supposed to be one of the best players.
If you watch the scrimmage, you would be like, that guy has to be really good. And we went to West Lafayette. We saw them scrimmaging. We saw Isaac Haas in a Utah Jazz Summer League jersey 4 weeks after Summer League walking around the premises. And I'm thinking to myself, Eastern's going to be a star. He hasn't quite come through, but, it's not his fault. I think it's Painter's fault. I think it's people not putting him in the right position.
What do you make of a team like Purdue that has now beat Virginia by 25, I believe.
Yes.
They beat Michigan State by, I lost count, and Iowa was an absolute
supposed to be good
bloodbath. They had, what was it, 61 in the first half?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm. And a race to 69.
What are they? They're 13-10? On KenPom, I saw KenPom loves them as the team that, we said we started the season with BYU as the best team in the country that never wins. Purdue is definitely the best team in the country that never wins now, right? They're like 500. I think they're going to make the tournament, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. They're on the I think they're on the right side of the bubble, right? I haven't really.
They have quality wins, right? Isn't that what we do
of course,
at this point?
And they blow everyone up.
Yes.
Well, it's the SVP thing that he says on his show. He's like, how good is your good? What does your good look like? How good are we talking? And Purdue's good. When Purdue's rolling,
they might be the best team in the country.
Yeah,
I mean, depending on the day, which is ridiculous.
Ridiculous to say out loud,
yes.
but I don't know if they can play every game in West Lafayette. And they can make 33s every game. I don't know who's going to beat them, Tate.
Let's hope they play.
It's crazy. Tommy Luce gets in, and he scored 6 points.
They lost to Rutgers. Just remember that. This is a team
Rutgers
that lost
is good, dude.
And Rutgers is good.
Calm down.
But I know.
Calm
I'm just
down.
saying.
It was funny though. My Purdue plays at Indiana on Saturday, and I did not hear a peep from my father after this Purdue performance. So make of that what you will. I think he's shaking in his boots. I think he's a little worried.
I honestly think your father would enjoy Indiana getting whooped.
He probably
not
would.
against Purdue, but
I think that's the one game. It's like he doesn't want, but I think he wants them to lose every other game. And it's not even because he doesn't like Archie. It's not even because it's just he just likes being unhappy.
Yeah, I said that we were talking about fandom the other day. I was like, if you're a real fan, you like to basically you don't want to get your hopes up because you are so invested that you want to put your team down as much as possible. You know what I mean? That's just the world that we live in. So, as a Carolina fan, it's what we're doing.
Yeah, right.
Just keep it deep.
So anyway, back to the Butler game. Kamar Baldwin hits the 3.
Yes.
Gus was on the call. It was on FS1. Shout out to our colleagues, Raf and Gus. Just reminds us that Gus needs to be calling these NCAA tournament games. That was my big takeaway from this. Was Raf? It was hilarious because Baldwin, the possession before Butler, I'm pretty sure had 0 passes, and if they didn't have any passes, as soon as Baldwin got the ball, he was like, "We're going to put an end to the passing," and he went one-on-one and missed. And then the next possession, he ends up in the game winner, and as he's like setting it up, Raf is like, "You got to get to the rim." He's doing the thing that any coach would want in that situation.
Gotta get downhill.
Get to the rim. Get downhill. You make something happen. And he just jacks up a step back 3, goes in. Gus, perfect timing. There was a moment made for Gus Johnson.
And Baldwin. Yeah. That's all it is.
And we got to figure this out. What can we do now that we're part of the Fox family to get Gus Johnson to call games? The problem is CBS has the contract. He's a Fox guy. But contracts are just suggestions, right?
Yeah, we need a second stream. That's all we need. We just need Gus Johnson to watch on a 10-second delay and then give his version of it, which I think people would still enjoy because, like you said, that whole moment was set up. Someone tweeted at me, and I'm sorry I forgot who it was. Bill were after he called game when they got to 68, So I'm like, I need to change to see what's going on here. And then I watched the end of the game, and like you said, it's just always a stage with Gus, and then he set it up perfectly, and Baldwin nailed it. So America loved it.
Come on the podcast,
Please.
Maybe we can do it that way.
We need you.
Just
I need Gus to
do that.
narrate like normal things, you
Yeah.
know, that are going on. And the door opens up. Mark Titus walking through the door.
2 seconds. Didn't they make a commercial with that with Gus where he's like going to the grocery store and people were? Yeah, I remember this.
I'm sure.
There was a commercial made about this.
Yeah, it's not a novel. Not
Get
a
him,
novel.
get him back on the Jim Nance retired and let Gus
Give him your tie. Give him your tie.
and let Gus take over just for the tournament. I don't want Gus to leave Fox. He's a Fox guy. We're Fox guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep Gus at Fox.
Yeah.
Just kick him. Raph does tournament games, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. Shout outs before we go.
Yeah, of course. I have to shout out John Henson. John Henson played for the North Carolina Tar Heels when I was in school. Great guy. People call him Hook. He was trapped in Cleveland for the Cleveland Cavaliers for at least a little bit over a year. He's been playing great. He just got back from injury, and he gets traded for Andre Drummond. And for people that didn't see this, they asked Thad Young, who's on the Bulls, about the trade deadline in the NBA. And Andre Drummond, there's some people that really like him in the league, some people that may not. Thad Young was asked about it, and he just started laughing about the trade because when you have to go to Cleveland, it becomes a joke. And I don't say that about Cleveland. I just say that about the perception of Cleveland. And I thought LeBron got rid of that in 2016. Stop blaming Cleveland. Everyone likes Cleveland. People love Cleveland.
I know, but I don't think they want to play for a coach that calls you slugs.
That's right.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's a
I don't
want to
be sluggish.
I don't think you want to be the combination of Dan Gilbert and John Beeline, who what a story that was. I don't think we were doing the pod when that happened either.
No.
That was a story Taylor made for us.
Mm-hmm.
God, the Michigan basketball program is the gift that keeps on giving between Jeff Jackson and John Beeline calling the slugs. That was
fun. And if you look at the Cavaliers, you got Kevin Love and Andre Drummond, which is wild.
Speaking of Michigan basketball, I want to give a shout out to our guy Duncan Robinson in the 3-point contest.
Yeah.
A man who was supposed to come on this program.
Mm-hmm.
It's not his fault he didn't, but is it? I don't know.
We'll blame him.
I'll say this: we tentatively had Duncan scheduled to come on the show. I said on Tuesday that he was going to come on. I didn't say his name, but I said we were going to have a guest. I'm not going to say who it was. We were supposed to do the interview after the Ohio State-Michigan game, and then Ohio State beat Michigan, and the interview didn't happen. So you connect the dots as you see fit.
And then, I don't know if I even told you this, I checked the LAPD, police report that night, and there was a man by the name of Jeff Jackson driving around 3:00 a.m., and apparently his name was Duncan Robinson, and unfortunately that came in.
We're going to get, there was a schedule, he had a team meeting that came up, and we couldn't make it work, but we're going to get Duncan on soon enough, because yeah, he's the man. But we're gonna have him on. We should have him on after he wins the 3-point contest, right? I don't want to have him on before, or should we have him on before and tell him to shout us out somehow? They give him tips.
How about
on
after the title?
After the title,
they got Iguodala now, right? They're gonna go for the title. So when Duncan and Pat Riley are celebrating and they're doing the whole,
my goal
Miami
is
thing,
to make friends with so many guys in the NBA that whoever wins the title, one of my friends is on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Big Cat loves this idea. He did it with LSU. He'll love this idea. Where one of the guys on the team is your friend, so you can go party with them and go to all the clubs afterwards and all that. I was hoping it was going to be Utah this year with Conley.
Yeah.
But man, the Jazz fans hate Mike. They hate Mike.
Why do they hate Mike?
I don't know. They're haters.
They're
all
haters.
Of them.
Yeah, they're all haters. Yeah. I can't wait for the playoffs.
Mike, do you have a message for the haters?
Mike, a lot of people in Utah are saying you're not the point guard of this team. Message to the haters.
Well, I mean, the problem is he's used to having the ball in his hands.
The problem is that Donovan Mitchell
wants the ball in his hand. Donovan Mitchell's actually a point guard disguised as a shooting guard, and there's just it's weird because Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley are two of the nicest guys in the world. So the idea of them having chemistry problems, anytime I hear chemistry problems, I think of egos and guys just being dicks. But that's not what's going on. It's just their style of play doesn't really seem to mesh well. But Mike,
they're still there. They'll figure it out.
Leave Mike alone.
He'll make a three. Ricky Rubio couldn't.
What else? We got to bring up Worldwide West going to the Knicks. What does this mean for John Calipari, Tate?
It means that basically Leon Rose and Worldwide West are going to run a shadow association via the New York Knicks. And again, if you're a fan of the NBA, this is nothing new. It just may be a better run version of that, I guess. And John Calipari is at Kentucky currently. He is repped by Leon Rose, who was at CAA. Leon Rose reps,
Huh.
guys like Karl Anthony Towns, guys like Devin Booker.
Is that true?
These are all Kyle's guys that play in the NBA. And we always joke about Kyle going to the NBA, but it's one thing to get offered the Kings job or the Thunder job or the Cavs job or the Hornets job or the Magic job or the Hawks job or the Mavericks job.
Or the Pacers job or the
But it's the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden. And as Rex Chapman, who I talked to, said that John Calipari loves the press conference more than the games. There is nothing that is more the press conference than the games than MSG and the New York Knicks and Spike Lee in that whole moment. And John Calipari is almost built for that after being with the Nets for so long, or 3 years. And I think it's perfect.
There's a sentiment that John Calipari will not leave because
a 10-year contract, a lifetime.
Yeah, he has a
10-year
lifetime 10-year contract.
Yes, exactly.
But and also, like, if he wanted to leave for the NBA, he's had millions of opportunities.
Yeah.
But like you said, one, they were different opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
and two, like this whole idea that if he wanted to leave for the NBA, he would have already done it. I reject that premise as well because, like, look at John Beilein, and also like this would be the time, like later in your career when he's already accomplished everything there is to accomplish at Kentucky. He only won one title, but whatever, he won a title that counts.
2015 is like sort
but
of
otherwise,
yeah.
Yeah, 2015 is kind of the unresolved thing. But as you said, get the 2015 team back together in the NBA and win a title with them. That's the storyline. He goes to the NBA, he recruits all those guys that were on the 2015 team, put them all back on one team, win the title, and you get your redemption. But I seriously, I don't think he's going to take the job. Obviously, if you're setting odds for this, like, it's overwhelmingly favored that he's going to stay at Kentucky. But I would not be surprised if he took the Knicks job at all. Not even a little bit.
I would not be surprised by anything as far as John Calipari. I would also, if you have ever looked at the list that Leon Rose represents, the players that he represents, it's going to be hilarious to see how all this shakes out because it's basically on the West Coast is Clutch Sports, and then it's going to be CAA Sports running the Knicks on the East Coast, and then Rock Nation is all the Nets. It's like basically every agency has a team now, so it's like trying to figure out what agency is going to be the best. And again, I thought we were playing basketball. I don't know what happened. I got lost. But yeah, it'll be fun.
I can't wait for the season to start, the NBA season. It's going to be so good this year. Exactly. It's going to be so good. I can't wait. I was following Woj and all the trades going on, and it's so crazy. When they start playing games, it's going to be nuts.
Good. People are going to be – all the eyeballs will be there. That's for sure.
I want to give a shout-out to Jerry Stackhouse, a man who we were making fun of last show about how Vanderbilt had not won an SEC game in 2 years. Took down the undefeated LSU Tigers.
Yes.
What a season of college basketball. That's just in a nutshell. LSU had not lost – was atop the SEC standings, had not lost an SEC game. Mm-hmm. Just lost to Vanderbilt, who has not won an SEC game in 28 tries, was it?
It was good. It would have been their 27th straight loss.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So Jerry Stackhouse did the full celebration. Vanderbilt fans have already forgotten about the whole 3-point thing. It's a pastime. Can I bring up someone else that was, I guess, in the spectrum of college basketball, maybe doesn't matter that much, but I think it's very interesting, is Andrew Wiggins, right? Andrew Wiggins gets traded to the Warriors to play with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and all those guys, Draymond Green, when they all come back eventually. And also, D'Angelo Russell, a guy that you know, played at Ohio State, goes and teams up with Karl Towns. Mm-hmm. And guess who D'Angelo Russell's agent is, or was?
Leon Rose.
Yeah. So there you go. So there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of little shifts and changes to be made in the NBA.
If Cal goes to the Knicks, who goes to Kentucky? And is it Rick Pitino? Because that's
facts, 100%.
Like, who doesn't want that? Even Kentucky fans want that. You want it, Kentucky fans.
Rick Pitino.
And if you don't want it, Rick Pitino is going to convince you want it because that's what Rick Pitino does.
First off, remember when Dick Vitale wanted Bobby Knight to go back to Indiana in like 2006? Like the Rick Pitino push to Kentucky from Dickie V would be premium. Like put that on ESPN Plus. Like I would pay money for that. Like give me Dick Vitale basically trying to convince us that Rick Pitino should return. That would be awesome. I honestly don't even know who Kentucky would turn to.
I think realistically, if Cal goes to the Knicks and Kentucky has to get a coach right now, they're going all in on Billy Donovan.
You would think
they would go all in.
That's a slick back hair. Yeah,
and whether they get him or not, I don't know, but they would 100% go all in on Billy Donovan.
You know who I would want there? Chris Beard.
Ooh,
that's the one. That's the one. Give me that
Ooh.
all day. Different team, not a one-and-done team, an old-school blue-collar Kentucky crowd.
And then, like,
Love
in
it.
3 years, Kentucky fans are ripping on schools that do the one-and-done game.
Yeah.
Just like they did with the IU-Kentucky rivalry, where, like, the whole time they were all about, like, playing the game on campus.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Cal says, we want to play it on a neutral site, they're like, actually, let's play it on a – yeah.
That's how it works.
When Knight wanted to play at neutral sites –
everyone wants to do what the other person
hate
doesn't
it. Yeah,
suggest.
right,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's good.
Right. One last shout out, and then we'll get out of here. I want to shout out Braxton Key of Virginia. I saw this note that someone tweeted. I'm sorry, I forgot who. I should have wrote down my source. This is bad of me to do this, but Braxton Key, Virginia beats Wake Forest in overtime at Wake Forest. He goes 2 for 16 in the game, but they do get the win. When he gets back to campus, he makes his girlfriend rebound for him at the arena. And he just gets back. As soon as he gets back, he puts up shots. So not even shout out to Braxton Key. Shout out to his girlfriend. Yeah,
absolutely. And
that's
that's
real.
To the manager that did not have to rebound for Braxton Key,
Yeah.
because that was the best night of his
Grant
life.
Kersey. He's the guy that's the walk-on now, right?
He's like, thank you, please.
Maybe that's why Virginia.
Please.
What if that's why Virginia sucks now? Is because they don't have any managers rebounding for them because they're all on the team. And
So
like
Tony
every
Bennett's
time,
too nice.
Yeah, and he's too nice to, and they're all putting their shots up, and they have no one to rebound for them, so they have to rebound themselves, and that's why their offense sucks. Something to think about. Something to think about.
As long as they're not driving your dad's car around at 3 in the morning, I think you're pretty good.
You got anything else?
I just want to say, Grizzlies, congratulations on getting Justice Winslow. The Miami Heat, they're a team that there's always been like one or two people that I'm like, have Duke relations or some sort of thing where I'm just like, I just can't, whatever it may be. But now that he's out of there, I really like this Miami Heat team because I love Bam Adebayo, one of my favorite North Carolina products. Jimmy Butler's a legend. I'm very happy with all his smack talk, and it's finally not going to blow up in his face. Oh, wait, we still haven't gotten to the playoffs yet. But I like that Heat team, and I like the Grizzlies putting
Duncan Robinson.
Yeah,
is
of
on
course.
The Heat
Tyler
team,
Hero.
obviously.
Yeah. We all know. But, I'm excited about the Grizzlies getting the 2015 Duke team together because I think that's nice. Grayson Allen's got to be excited.
Before we go, so Saturday is the biggest day, as we said at the top of college basketball of the season. So Tate and I are going to be watching games all day together. We invite you to join us. We're going to be doing like video hits, and we will be tweeting all day from the Titus and Tate account at Titus and Tate on Twitter. Which, by the way, should we plug? What's your Twitter? At Tate Frazier.
At Tate Frazier.
I'm
it's
at
my
Club
name.
Trillion.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that listen to the podcast that do not have social media, do not follow us on social media, do not, just are completely oblivious to all that. Like, had no idea, like,
that we have a following
that
or
we,
any sort of
just,
engagement.
Just whatever.
Yeah.
They just like stumbled across it or whatever. So anyway, if you want to get involved with that, we're gonna be watching games all day. Here's the rundown, by the way, for you folks that have not checked the schedule. So Friday, Maryland plays at Illinois. That is the two teams that are tied atop the Big Ten standings right now. That's on Fox Sports 1 at 8 Eastern. That's Friday. And then Saturday, when you and I are going to be getting together, we will be watching Michigan State at Michigan at noon on Fox. There's LSU at Auburn is at noon on ESPN. Those are the top two teams in the SEC along with Kentucky, so 2 of the 3, I guess. Kentucky will be playing at Tennessee at 1 Eastern on CBS. Purdue's at Indiana at 2 Eastern on ESPN. St. Louis is at Dayton. The Jaylen Crutcher hitting the 3 to beat St. Louis in the first game. The Arch Baron Cup, I learned. I remember I forgot the name of the trophy. It's the Arch Baron Cup. This is a rivalry. That's on CBS Sports. We love that Dayton team. Seton Hall at Villanova is at 2:30 on Fox. Those are the top two teams in the Big East.
Nice.
We have Virginia at Louisville at 4 Eastern on ESPN. Louisville always loses to Virginia, correct? That's how it works out. Yeah.
Louisville always beats North Carolina.
That's right.
Yeah.
I have you explain this to me every year because I always forget like who beats, how it all layers together.
It's all messed up.
So Virginia's desperate for some wins to get into the tournament. They're playing at Louisville, 4 Eastern ESPN. And then the big one, Tate. Duke, Carolina, 6 Eastern on ESPN. What are these uniforms that they're wearing?
So apparently in 1920, North Carolina and Duke decided to play each other in the most hideous outfits known to man at the time. And Nike said, you know what? Let's remake those 100 years later. And Duke and North Carolina, if you haven't seen this yet, the Nike has the D and the NC are both larger than life. They look like wrestling uniforms, honestly. It looks like a leotard or something you would put on. But they're in the exact one color, and they have the big D, which I'm sure Coach K will love that
Loves
D
that,
on the
yeah.
chest. Yeah. And, North Carolina will have the NC on the chest. And it will probably be the worst. I mean, it's 100 years. I remember the last time North Carolina celebrated anything 100 years, it was 2010, the year they made the NIT. So anytime it's a 100-year celebration, I don't like it. And this may be my least invested and involved North Carolina Duke game. This will be the first time I'm not at the Carolina Duke game in Chapel Hill since 2009.
Wow.
It's been 11 years.
11 years. You're giving up.
Yes.
You're quitting. You're quitting on your team.
No,
wow.
I'm not quitting on my team. I'm quitting on this team. And I wouldn't call them my team.
Wow.
They wear North Carolina
I think
blue.
I saw the 538 headline today. The headline was this. I didn't read the article. Of course not. Why? It's 2020. Who reads articles? But the headline said, North Carolina men's basketball is off the rails.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
But it felt like a headline that the whole purpose of writing that headline is to put it in some sort of documentary later. You know what I mean? Like they show like clips of
when it all went wrong.
When it all went wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. How did we get here?
Yes.
North Carolina off the rails.
Coach Williams says it's the worst team he's
worst
ever
team
coached.
he's ever had. Just do the montage of headlines. Man.
I'm excited for next year.
I think Carolina's gonna win.
I do too.
I really seriously do.
I don't want to
because it's so obvious that they're not. That's why they're going to win.
And that's why this rivalry is beautiful. Again, you're going to see the graphic where it's 50 wins versus 50 wins, the exact same number of points in the last 100 meetings. Mm-hmm. They've been doing this forever. That is why this is a beautiful game, because usually the best team does not win, and that's why I have a little glimmer of hope. But again, this North Carolina team is abysmal, to say the least. To say the least. And again, Roy Williams, when he said that, I didn't like it, but I knew where he was coming from.
To say the least.
To say the least.
Other games, UCLA's at Arizona, 10 Eastern, ESPN2. Gonzaga at St. Mary's, 10 Eastern. All of those games are on Saturday. It is an insane game. Ton of rivalries. Or a same day, I'm sorry. Ton of rivalries. Ton of just how many this weekend alone, Friday and Saturday, you have 1, 2, 3 of the leagues have their top 2 teams playing against each other.
Right. If you want a crash course for real, like if you're mad at us for talking about it, then just watch it and get your own crash course.
Dive in on Saturday. Join us at Titus and Tate, at CBB on Fox is the other Twitter handle. That's the Fox thing. We're going to be doing video stuff with them as well.
Absolutely.
They're the ones who keep the lights on for us, so got to plug them. And by the way, if you're listening to this, if you are someone listening on the podcast, we are putting all of these shows on YouTube. So if you want to see what we look like, if you're listening and you say to yourself, Tate Frazier sounds like he's black, I got to see for myself. He is. It's confirmed.
Yeah,
watch
look
on
at me.
watch on that.
Yeah, you can see it.
For whatever reason, we're doing these on YouTube. So come join us.
It's good to have multiple streams. And like we talked about earlier with Gus Johnson, maybe that's something we pitch to the NCAA tournament. We need something different. But we're excited for Saturday. We'll be doing. I'll probably cry if North Carolina gets blown out.
By the way.
Oh,
I
nice!
don't
wow.
want to. I'm bringing Moses in. He's going to be sitting in the war room watching with us. So we're going to have Mose involved, and it's going to be a fun time. We'll be tweeting at Titus and Tate, like I said. Follow us, all that kind of stuff. Any final word, Tate?
Go Carolina and go to hell, Duke.
For the best access, perspective, and personalities in all of sports, follow us at Fox Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.